So I quite often end up sitting next to someone at lunch or dinner or something who's a big shot in the private sector, and they'll say, "Oh well, yeah, if you let the private sector loose on this, or if you had these kind of super efficient, high profile chief executives from the private sector go in and run the NHS or run the education system, they'd soon sort it out." A slight parody, but only a very slight parody of the kind of conversation that one quite often has with these individuals who have a deal of confidence in the capacity of some people in the private sector to make this big difference. Sam, what do you make of that?
Well, 2 points. Firstly, that our private sector productivity in this country hasn't exactly been brilliant. And quite a lot of evidence that we have a management problem in the private sector here as well. The second is, it's not as if no one's ever tried that, right? Governments over the years have got in all sorts of people from the private sector to do reviews and analysis and to run commissions and so on. And they always get a bit bewildered by the fact the public sector is vastly bigger and more complicated than whatever company that they've been running. And incentives work differently when you don't have profit. It's much harder in some ways to create the right accountability and incentive structures when you don't have the substandard profit motive. The same applies to charities as well. So whilst I wouldn't rule out the value that some private sector people could bring in terms of specific skills, and I think that's where you can make a difference if you've got a really specific skill in a specific area that can be applied to something like IT. I think the sort of general sense that the private sector is A, much better run, and B, is those skills are transferable to the public sector is very much overdone.